Well, fed up residents in Brisbane are this week taking the ongoing youth crime crisis into their own hands.
The group, called Voice for Victims, will tomorrow march to Queensland's State Parliament demanding more action from the government. Ben Cannon is the anti-crime advocate leading the rally. He joins us now from Brisbane to discuss. Morning, Ben. Always great to chat to you. We've spoken to you on this subject so many times. What got you to this point?
I was caught in a home invasion with my neighbours that was quite violent. A number of people were stabbed and hurt through that. Through my own healing, I guess energy comes out of these things, and it could have either become really dark internal energy, but I've just decided to push it out. And with these wonderful people, we've been able to put together Voice for Victims. There's many more that stand behind me in this team, and we're looking forward to this Wednesday's rally that we can hopefully make a difference and make the government listen.
Pushing out of the darkness, pushing out of the pain, which is still there, I'm sure, but also trying to push through the frustration you and so many others are feeling.
Yeah, I mean, frustration sometimes turns into anger, and there's many people that are really kind of at their wits' end about this, Carl. Like, you know, we're not hearing of people getting broken into once. We're hearing of multiple home invasions, and some in succession, you know, happening one night and then they come back the next night and the next night. So what we're frustrated with is often we hear this recidive offenders, we hear repeat offenders, these types of things used. Those people have committed a crime somewhere else and haven't learnt their lesson, and the system has allowed them to continually come back and reoffend and in many ways get better at their craft. We as a community think that's not good enough, and we as a community have decided to stand up against it.
Well, by all reports, these kids are getting more and more brazen by the day as well, which is terrifying for people who are affected by this or fear that they will be affected by this. So what are the key changes you'll be asking for tomorrow, Ben?
So we don't believe that a private conversation or another government committee is going to make a difference. We believe that the community needs the stakeholders, and one of which is those as the victims. We're a part of the solution, we believe, that hasn't yet been heard or hasn't yet had a voice in how to fix this problem. Many of the issues that we'll unpack with putting this committee together with the help of the government will lead towards better social systems. But the reality of it is if victims don't have a voice, you never get to hear the stories of the pain and the misery and the anguish and the cost of emotion and financial difference that these crimes commit. So what we'll be asking for tomorrow is we'll have a raft of recommendations, and we'll be also putting some very pointed questions to the government that we're confident that if they are serious about fixing this problem, that we should have a response within 10 days.
You know, Ben, Sylvia and I both grew up in Brizzy, and the biggest worry for me growing up was who was going to win the State of Origin and maybe missing the Bayside bus because it was going to be 2 hours before another one came along. But now Brisbane people are scared in their own homes. They're being held captive in their own homes through fear. And that something needs to be done urgently for that. The proposed changes you're asking for will take time, but that's if a government's listening.
I think owning the problem is the first thing that government needs to do. We haven't yet heard anyone come out, even to the point, we sort of organised this 3 weeks ago. We put a request into the Premier to meet us at the gates to just give us some of her time. We've yet to have any response from her or anyone inside of her sort of office. We have had some ministers reach out in the last sort of 12 hours, only through pressure from the media and pressure from us following them up. That they will give us a token meeting, but we want real action, and it needs to come from leadership. You know, if what we're doing is not working and it's creating the sentiment and the unease in the community that it is, we have to try something. So we're going to certainly push for that.
Tell us a little bit more about what exactly is planned tomorrow. You're marching up to Parliament. You mentioned some people have responded. Who's likely to meet you there at the gates, and what's your message to the community who might want to support you?
So we've had support come from all around the world. Brisbane people or Queensland people love what they call home. Tomorrow at the rally, we've got people coming in from Townsville, from Cairns, interstate, certainly a lot of Brisbane people and from the Gold Coast. So we're confident we're going to have good support. Tomorrow is a peaceful rally. We want our numbers and our silent sort of protest to be our voice. We certainly don't want any vigilante type behaviour, and certainly if there is, the police will be looking after all of that. we want to march up to Parliament. We start at 10:30, we'll march up to Parliament, and we're hoping there we can then be heard. We can then have some meetings with some of the stakeholders, because yet to date, we haven't heard the Premier come out and own that there is a problem in the state that we as a community feel every day. So we hope that tomorrow they listen to us, and we certainly look forward to a seat at the table so we can see to push towards change.
Good on you, Ben. Keep working hard, my friend. It's good to have you on. Thank you so much.
Now, is it true that you guys will be live in the Botanic Gardens tomorrow, doing a cross from Brisbane, the greatest state in the world?
No, I need no excuse.
Exactly.
Sylvia doesn't either to come to Brizzy, so we'll see you
Any
tomorrow.
day of the week, Ben. You know we're there.
Thank you, buddy.
We must say thank you guys for all your support throughout this. Without you, we don't have a real voice, so thank you as well.
Good on you, mate. Thank you so much. A man's violent outburst at a busy Brisbane cafe has left staff and customers shaken. This is the terrifying moment he hurled multiple plates after allegedly refusing to pay a public holiday surcharge. We're joined now by the owner of the Whiskey Business Cafe in Brisbane, Kylie Baker. Kylie, good morning to you. Can you explain how it all started?
Hi, well, the gentleman came in last Monday, which was our Echo public holiday for the Redlands, and ordered. A few minutes later, he came back to the cafe to let us know that he'd been overcharged. I said to him, well, it's a public holiday, and said there's a surcharge. We had signs everywhere, all over the shop. He was standing directly in front of a sign at the time he was talking to me. He just didn't want to believe me that it was a public holiday. He was adamant that it was not a public holiday. And then it just went from there, and it all happened very fast. He just went from...
Jeez, you've gone ballistic.
Yeah, he just got aggressive very fast from there.
What went through your mind? I mean, how do you control something like that? And also for your staff there, I'm sure you've got a lot of different age staff and different experienced staff. What was it like for them?
It was really scary how quickly he got aggressive. I tried speaking to him calmly. We had 3 teenage staff on that morning, and our other 2 staff were actually on their first ever shift, their first day. So it was quite a shock for them as well.
I mean, you would know, being in the business for a while, that the surcharges do irritate people, but you've got the choice if you see that you're going to charge it, but this was kind of out of the box as well, on a different level.
This is extreme. Like, you know, people get mad and people will argue about it.
Do you see that a lot?
We do, yes. We're spoken to terribly by people when they have a problem. What people have to understand, though, is a lot of the cafe and restaurant owners, we don't like actually having to put a surcharge on. We don't like having to put our prices up. There's a lot of anxiety amongst the hospitality industry about raising prices in the first place. And we try so hard to keep things reasonable, but at the end of the day, we're there to make a living for ourselves as well. And it doesn't help anybody if we're absorbing all these costs. There's so many places closing their doors, and it's really hard.
Really good to talk to you, and thanks for explaining a bit of it. Thank you, and thankfully, your staff are okay, and you're all good for business. Thank you for being with our show.
We'll be good. Thank you,
Sylvia.
Thank you.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my goodness, Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?